Well, good morning, and we're back again, and I am with the talented and very versatile Beef Stew. How are you this morning, Beef?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, looking forward to chopping it up with you this morning, and then we can stop talking for a week.
Well, we'll be coming to you from across the pond, at least. So, as we will be in a bubble over in England for the Weber Cup. Man, I think first, we can get down to business. We had a first round of playoff matches, a little bit of drama.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
No, I think the match of the round was definitely the first match. Jacob and Tommy. It had a little bit of a slow start. It was a slow burner, shall we say. Jacob got off to his normal start, left the 7-pin. Missed it by a yard. Some people, we were commenting about it, and on Twitter, I'm doing the live tweet alongs. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, Stu900, I'm going to try and do that as long as I can get a connection in England when it's on this weekend. But in general, I'm trying to do live tweet alongs, and yeah, Jacob's spare shooting is definitely caused him some issues. But ironically, I wrote his strike ball usually saves him, though.
yeah,
And
it normally does, and this time it certainly did.
yes, just 1 second. Yeah, so that was the first one. He then so he had the 9 miss, and then he started ball pretty good. And Tommy, I think he was just struggling on the 1 lane from memory. And Tommy, it's 2 guys who really don't like finishing last. Tommy and Jacob both, from my experiences, seem to both choose to finish first. So Tommy, obviously being the 16th seed, got to pick, and he got up in the 9th and 10th, and he did what Hall of Fame guys do. I mean, he turned what was looking like a mediocre 180, and he found a 4-bagger at the end then to shoot 214. And he left Jacob needing all 3 in the 10th. And Jacob duly obliged. Went high flush, high flush, high flush, said thanks for coming.
They all ended up in the same place.
Yes, they did.
Specto did not. That looked like a 3-year-old drawing going down there. Actually, the first 2 were pretty close, I think. But
yeah, I think that in Jacob's mind, I think he looked a bit like I do when I bowl with urethane. Just throw it to the right, and his is just throw it to the left.
His last one was about 3 or 4 inside of the one before that.
Yeah.
But Jacob also does that thing where he kind of just shuffles. He doesn't always slide in the same spot, and I have to wonder how far right of where he slid on the shot before that he slid on that one, because they really weren't. I mean, that makes them look like they were super easy, and that was not the case. They were pretty tricky, I thought.
So yeah,
but
so that was game 1, and we were off with a bang.
And it was 213 to 214.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Not checking.
Okay. Either way.
Yeah. And then you had the Frankie and Norm match. The hey, oh wow, you just missed the top 8 in the buys. Here's your reward, Norm.
Yeah. And then the thing that was most amazing about that was you had 2 guys who have 4 U.S. Opens between them.
Mm-hmm.
And inside the first 5 frames, they'd both flagged the 10-pin. Yeah, Frankie, I don't know whether he ended up changing his urethane ball, because the one he'd used for spares for forever had a hole in it. So I don't know if he's got that, but he's had a little bit of trouble with the 10-pin. Kind of, because of the way his swing goes, he throws it really straight, and he's just hung up in it twice. And he missed that one. Of course, he missed the one against Darren Tang. So the 10-pin isn't treating him too well at the minute. And before, it was like basically as automatic as anything.
Yeah. So, he's a great spear shooter in general. It's not a guy that attribute any of those issues. He's got a little loop in his swing, but he gets it back on plane all the time. I mean, most people have a little loop in their swing of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I went through some of the same things earlier this year with hanging up in the thumb a little bit, and I think he had the same ball, like you said, for a long time, and having to switch out of it, there's a little bit of confidence change there, and I certainly after missing one to miss a show, I don't know how you could not think about it the next time you were up there.
Yeah, but I mean, he seemed to recover pretty well, and then he put a pretty good beating on Norm. Norm bowled a pretty good game. He just couldn't, I guess he just picked the wrong ball, and it's really difficult when the lanes aren't super easy, and you get the ball that controls the pocket, and it doesn't strike.
Yeah, and one of the things I hate most about a one-game format is that guys with multiple tools don't have any time to use them. And so you kind of get pot committed into one thing. You have to just ride it out. If he gets another go at it, I imagine there's a different color ball going down that left lane. And because he was hitting the pocket every shot, there wasn't a whole lot of difference in execution in that match. Just Frankie's ball. He found one that would go through him, and he looked like he by far had the best reaction on that show.
Yeah, definitely. Then we moved on to the Dick and Dom match.
Does Frankie and Norm's total weight together equal as much as Wes? No.
I was about to say, I know I've got him soft.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went on to Dick v Dom, and it was kind of weird. If you'd have told me at the TV break that Dick was going to win by 40, I'd have thought you were crazy, because Dom was way closer to having good ball reaction than Dick was, what it looked like to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Dom could easily have struck 5 out of the first 6 shots, and he didn't have a double, and he had 1 open. He had 1 bad shot, and Dick just hung around, and he did what what dogs do. He hung around, and the junkyard dog he is, he figured out the back half of the game, and he threw a 4-bagger and said, "See you, Dom."
He did what Richards do. So
yeah, he really that was an impressive game in that he had nothing really, and then he managed to still shoot 225 or 229, whatever it was. So hats off to him. I mean, Dom could have got a couple of more good breaks, but I think he was a little disappointed. He felt like he was a little tentative, I think, on that left lane. That left lane seemed to be playing really flat in the middle of the lane. And the guys, that was another thing I was tweeting about. When you see guys constantly telling themselves shot after shot after shot, just get it to the right, just get it to the right, just get it to the right, that just means that there's just no forgiveness to the left.
Yeah.
Because they're not missing
photography on that lane. There was a lot more friction in the front, tilt going to the left in the front lane. So when you moved in the track, there was immediate pickup in there. And so what was going on and how guys were fighting it. Plus, it felt like to me that you could get it to the gutter on the left lane, whereas the right lane that was a poor option and would get you in trouble. Our man from Bowl U, take it easy on the Richards.
And then the last match, probably the match that would have the lowest body fat percentage between two guys on the PBA tour. Marshall versus Chris Vi. It was kind of the same story for Vi as the PBA League. I mean, he bowled really good shots. He got into that ring 10 zone and he couldn't get out of it. Marshall, I like the way Marshall attacked the lanes. I think that Marshall is really talented and can do a lot of things, but I think that what he was doing there is what Marshall's really good at. He went up and he just attacked the ball. He went after it. He was aggressive. He can almost turn his brain off a little bit when it's like that. He's not trying to fit it or do something crazy or loft it halfway down the lane or whatever. He just went up and he just knocked the holes out of it. And I mean, he obviously got a he won the match 2-10 to 2-10, and Chris probably had a few more good shots, but good things happen when you can create it. And I
Yeah.
don't think there's anybody here who begrudges Marshall a couple of good breaks after the last few weeks.
Yeah, that is for sure. The flip side is for Chris, he made a couple of shows at the end of the year, and I thought the most striking thing to me, and I think I said on a previous show, was that it wasn't how other people treated him after making the World Series, World Championship show and the U.S. Open show. It was how comfortable he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the way it works. You think, well, if I win twice, everybody will treat me like I'm one of the guys, and that's not really the way it works. He came in for the PBA league, and he very quietly, very unassuming, no beating his own chest. That's not his deal, but he knew he was one of the guys now. He's flipped to the other side in his head of whatever needed to happen, and man, I think there's some big things coming out of him. From in the near future. So
yeah, definitely. It was. Did you catch any of the intros?
I did not. I caught a little bit of like one and a half of them. I thought it was pretty interesting. I got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, and that's why you do things like that. There's going to be half the world who think they're fantastic, and there's going to be some of the people who are like, meh, don't really care one way or the other. And then you're going to get some of the people who are going to be strongly on the side of, oh, this is dumb. Blah, blah, blah. That's why you do those sorts of things. If you don't get that reaction, then it was a waste of time and money.
Right. No, and I think there were very human stories. It's not all positive. Hey, this guy's great. This guy's great. And this guy's great. It was, hey, this guy's great. And these are his demons.
Yeah. I mean, I like
which I thought was certainly a different take than what we've done in the past.
I like Dom's intro. I must admit, I think that from now on, he's the Austin Powers of bowling. I'm sure he was thrilled about that. Yeah, baby, yeah. So I'm sure you can get a rise out of him with that one. Yeah. I thought I particularly enjoyed the Francois, le revoir, bonjour. We had. I did think that the filmmaking with the way they kept putting the glitch in the in the shot, I didn't really like that. But I mean, that's really nitpicking. I thought that it was
with the board with it.
Yeah, well, when it was playing, they kept having a glitch in the camera, so it made it feel like, I don't know. It happened so often that it almost made me feel like there was something wrong with my cable box. Yeah. Rather than it was part of how it was. So
yeah, it is nitpicking, and it is. But I noticed the same thing. That I didn't know why it was in there necessarily. I didn't like it a whole lot. So, Warren, this of all the things I would wear, an OU shirt is probably pretty far down the list.
So, I tell you what, man, I thought OU were going to choke it off again in the fourth quarter. God. And then the kid missed that kick. Oh my God. Texas had a kick blocked, and it was closer than the OU attempt that wasn't blocked.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's a sign of the times, because I spoke to a bunch of Texas guys, I spoke to a bunch of OU guys, and everybody was just, it was a good game. And it's just like, you just know that neither team's competitive for making the playoffs. So they're just like, it was a good game. Like, I don't know. In England, if my team loses 4-3 in the soccer, it was a terrible game. I don't care. It was terrible. But, right. I just think it's a sign of, people are just a little more like, eh.
Yeah. I agree. Marshall Kent won. That was, he's due a couple feel-good moments. Ollie Barrett.
Yeah.
How do you feel bowling is progressing in UK compared to other nations?
I think it's slowing down a little bit, unfortunately. And then I don't know if you understand this, but in England, there's a chain that's letting you bowl in your own shoes, just straight shoes.
There is none of that happening, and there is no plans in any immediate future for that to happen. And
Oh,
that is a huge. That's like taking beer out of the bowling centers.
real quick, we did forget this intro.
Oh,
They
yeah,
they did speak about Chris and his mom's cookies.
you
So
did.
I actually didn't catch all of that one. I just heard Randy going off till about the fifth frame about nothing to do with Chris's bowl and just his mom's cookies. So Mama Vi stole the show. And then Craig says here, it definitely won't be a Chargers shirt. Well, it ain't going to be a Raiders shirt either. How about them Raiders?
Yeah, no, no. I had a feeling they were due for. They got away twice with not playing very well against the Chargers and the Patriots, and
Mm-hmm.
with a rookie quarterback and basically worse than a rookie quarterback, uh, and survived both really. So they haven't played that well. Uh, I'm not terribly surprised. Although I got to say, anytime Derek Carr torches you, you have some serious soul searching to
I
do.
think they just look a bit bored, to be honest.
Well, and they changed up their secondary. That Breland was back for the first time of the year, and it looked like they had some bad miscommunications on a couple of plays, and I got to assume that changing up the secondary cost a couple of those busted plays. David Carr had more long touchdown passes than had in the last 4 years in one game. So
Derek.
Derek, David, whatever, they're all bad.
Yeah.
So,
Craig Vi. How about them Cowboys?
who?
How about Zeke trying to put Dak trying to push his ankle back into spot? Oof. Oof.
That's a grown man move.
That was awful. When it happened, and Tony Romo goes, "It might be ligaments." I'm like, his foot is perpendicular to his ankle.
Yeah.
That isn't a ligament problem, Tony.
Yeah.
She gone.
That was bad. Yeah, I mean the Cowboys are in trouble. They can't really stop anybody. And to be fair, you have a new defensive coordinator and system with no preseason, so of course they were going to be bad on defense early in the year.
But they got the red rifle now. They're good.
They have one of the better backups in the league. I don't think they're actually going to notice that much difference, to be honest.
Well, I think they might, because I think they might actually start running the ball all the time, and their defense might thank them a little bit.
They keep him off the field a little more often. But Dalton can throw a little bit. I don't actually think he's, I don't think he's better. But I guess we'll find out one way or the other. The Dak hate hive, as they call him around here, will either grow substantially or quiet significantly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, enough.
Ninja.
Enough of the football talk.
Yeah, that's not what you come here for.
So that whole segment then on the playoffs went a little quicker than I anticipated. So I think we're going to probably have a half-hour show today. So my board today is ties are meant to be broken. Go Europe, because
Hang on, let me get that down. Put that up again so I can see it.
There we go. Ties are meant to be broken. Europe. Weber Cup 21. And as you can tell by that, we're at 10 apiece. USA coming in as a strong money line favorite. But race to 23. Yikes. I hope
that is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of bowling. It race to 17.
Yeah. I just hope that it isn't one of the years where one of the teams just gets way out in front, because that's going to take a while. And
yeah, there's no early easy exit out of this thing if it gets lopsided. Of course, on the flip side, there is a ton of time for the rally to happen.
Yeah, I just feel like in the past, when we've done it to you and you did it to us, it's just really difficult once it starts going in that direction. Like, it just feels like, are we ever going to get a break? Like, it's a ring 10 or it's a blow a 7 or something. And then.
Well, it's what you see, I mean, whether it's the league or if it's whatever, you get in certain centers and certain guys just don't like that center, and you have the same lane man, so the patterns are different, but they're effectively built similarly. So there's not really an easy escape clause unless you can go drill balls, and that's not going to happen for anybody this year.
Nope.
You guys will have 18. We'll have 6. I mean, that'll be the usual fair thing, but
Well, no, I'll only have 6, and Jesper will only have however many he could bring.
he has the same 3 or 4 he always has. It doesn't matter.
I think Jesper's going to have 8, but Jesper's got the same flight as EJ, so Jesper can have as many balls as EJ's got. So yeah,
Bill might actually bring over some extra, I think, and he can, we'll see. He was a little struggling last time he was there, and he's trying to make sure his bases are covered for this time.
He did bring 3 of the same ball last time.
Well, to be fair, I think I remember back then. I'm not sure there was a lot of other choices other than that ball.
Yeah, maybe, but I'd still think. I mean, Bill did that a couple of years. He came with like Fagan, didn't he? Came with like
Fagan
4 balls.
Yeah, that didn't work very well.
So yeah, one quick thing before we dive into that. Somebody asked me about it. Thoughts on Undercover Boss? I thought it was a good promotional tool for the sport of bowling. I think that Coley might have found the kindest-hearted mechanic to ever live. I could have imagined some of the guys that I've come across and the conversations they would have had with her probably wouldn't have gone quite the way that they went with that particular gentleman that she found. I thought that Coley came across well in it. She showed a very empathetic side, but you also saw how quickly she snapped, I guess. Not snapped, but like went into business mode when the one lady didn't go through the correct protocol.
Right.
So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it put bowling in the mainstream, and that's always useful.
Yeah, I think it does what that show generally does. There's a fair amount of scripted pieces in there that they came off a criticism about she didn't mention the PBA Tour. Well, this was filmed a year ago, and so the papers might have been signed, but the deal was not completed yet. So there was no way.
Yeah, they were saying that. I guess it was completed like the week before. So it was like I was under the impression it wasn't, but I guess it was. But at the same time, I don't really know. Aside from someone like randomly bowling a strike and her going, "Wow, you should go out on the PBA Tour," I don't know what the.
You don't know when it's going to be filmed. You don't have a game plan yet. I mean, there's a lot of things in place, and how you work that in, and who knows that she didn't say it. The amount of that gets filmed and then not used is pretty significant. I think it was 2 weeks, she said, and it turns into a 40 minutes of 40 minutes of TV. So, yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think Fox do a great job with that. We're talking about WWE supporting the PBA, the cross promotion. I also thought the one thing I actually thought was maybe more awesome than that was when they had Big Papi and Alex Rodriguez talking about the bowling, and my boy Mookie, he could throw a strike ball, and that was pretty awesome. And that's the stuff that you get from Fox that you would never get from our previous 4-letter broadcaster.
No, that's true, and I know there's always pushback when we do any of these things cross promotion wise, but if you pay attention, it's happening everywhere. WWE is cross promoting with NFL, it's across all their sports shows. Rob Stone was the 24/7 champion, and there's some obvious lead-ins to where they can really help us because their audience, to be honest, is bigger than ours is, and so
yeah,
and there are a significant amount of crossover where perhaps we can catch some things from both sides, and mutually beneficial relationships like that don't really compete directly, I think are great for us. And if it works out, fantastic. If it doesn't work out, it didn't cost us anything.
I think that those things are way better and have way more impact than, let's say, the owners of the PBA teams did. I think, when Baseball Tonight's on and they have the the segue to, hey, the bowling's coming up on Saturday, check this out, and then it comes back into the studio and they're laughing about, man, I tried to bowl, but I sucked or whatever. I think that stuff is, anyway, that's my take on it. I feel like
Right.
That is great. Someone says, can you smell what Butterf's cooking?
Mostly what he's sweating out.
And then just getting bowling mentioned anywhere is a bonus, especially when it's two guys as famous as David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, they're doing us solid. Considering everything, I know we've gotten bumped around in some other things, but we went from no programming to having every sports final all in the same month. And we're actually still seeing some pretty decent time slots and getting some time, with them. When this whole thing got set up, the Big Ten wasn't playing. Big Ten had the contract with Fox, so we were going to fill a bunch of Saturdays. Well, now they decided to play, and we're still getting some decent slots. I mean, we're getting treated far better than we ever were by the other four-letter affiliate. So,
Rick Benoit saying, good to hear bowlers talking good about bowling decisions. Well, realistically, there's literally nothing to gain by us saying bad things. And most of the time, right, I liken it to watching the NFL and which package you have, whether you have you just watch the local game, or you get the red zone package, or you get the coach's film. As bowlers, we can watch the red zone. We don't get to watch every game. We don't get to watch the all 22, see every play. So we don't know all the things that go behind every decision. And the amount of times, people would criticize a decision, and it's because there's an obvious reason why we couldn't do it that way. But we just don't know that because we don't have access to that information. So in general, people who are in decision-making positions don't do it because they're stupid.
Breaking news.
What's that?
JoJo Yanapan.
Oh, hey, buddy.
The superstar, the legend, the sportsman of his entire country has joined us today. We are blessed indeed.
From Bangkok.
All the way from Bangkok. He's a good man there.
I really need to scroll back up because someone asked a question. Right, here we go. Mike Phillips. Is the Weber Cup being live streamed televised? Yes. You're probably not going to like the answer, but yes. The Weber Cup is on a streaming platform called DAZN. It is DAZN.com, DAZN. It's a monthly subscription place, but you can just sign up for 1 month and then cancel if you want to. It's $19.99. Now, that's how you get to watch it. So that's how it's being shown in the US. So take that for what it's worth. They have boxing, they have all sorts of different sports on. If you go on the site, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess, because they only really mention boxing. But if you go through Matchroom Sports, I believe it is, or just webercup.com, in fact, they show you that it's being shown on DAZN. I had it confirmed with them this morning. So that's how you watch it.
There you go. And we'll try and get a link up somewhere on this as well, so we can catch that as well. And either Stu froze or I froze. I'm not sure. If you could let us know in the comments. Yeah, I agree with this. Mookie should go pro and bounce between sports. He bowls the World Series as it is. Obviously, that one pays a little bit more than ours does, so it takes takes a back seat, I am going to bowl a doubles tournament with him around the Christmas time. So that's always fun. And he actually prepares for it like he would at, his other sports. So, all right. Stu did freeze. Thank you. Appreciate that. Most of the time it's the wives that freeze up. This time, thanks, Tina.
Mm-hmm.
He's back.
So I have literally the world's most expensive internet connection, and it's wired, and I'm fried.
I got nothing.
Pissed. Like AT&T, I don't care whether they get upset with me. AT&T is so shit in comparison to Cox. It's not even like funny. Like Cox Wi-Fi or Cox cable or whatever you want to call it. The fiber with Cox is fantastic. Like you pay for it, but it's fantastic, and it never does stuff like that. It either works or it doesn't. There's no in between like that. Very annoying.
Craig Dobson, has any timeline been set for the beginning of the season? And no, and I don't think there's any way there can be. I think they optimally would like a similar timeline, but until things settle, with whatever plan parameters we're going to go with, are we just going to deal and move forward, or are we going to quarantine more, or I imagine whoever wins the election will have something to do with that as well. But probably until early December, I don't know how you're going to be able to make a plan, because you're going to have to get the governors and everybody on board so you can decide what the protocol is going to be.
Hey, I mean, the players can't even agree on what they think we should do, so it's pretty hard for the PBA.
Yeah, well, the rumor about the August thing, I think, has been squashed. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I don't really mean like about.
But yeah,
I just mean like when we start talking about what we should do and whether this is valuable or that's valuable or whatever, it's like there's a lot of moving parts. Casey, no, all the Liverpool players are feeling better now, so we're all good. All good to lay the smackdown on the cross-city rivals.
Richard Benoit likes to hear about bowlers talk about team versus individual competition. He wants more team, and three-man Baker is my preference. You may get a lot of it next year. We actually don't know. There's a lot of things in the wind right now, and Coley has proven that she is not afraid to stray away from the status quo, I guess is probably the best way to put it. So we could see a combination of about anything. I think the majors are the only thing that we'll definitely see next year, and after that, I think any and all possibilities are on the table.
James, you're about 5 minutes late. Watch it on YouTube. I'm going to put this one up pretty quickly, so have a swing over to our YouTube channel, which is right just underneath us, youtube.com, Beef and Barnzy.
Casey, you own a 16-lane wood center north of Indy. Bring it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have more experience on that than you.
No, he was saying bring the PBA. When was the last PBA bowled on wood?
We actually bowled several on wood not so long ago.
Japan?
Well, yeah, Japan was the last one.
All the old guys make it. Dumb and Barnes make the ladder every time.
Yeah, we're used to our ball not hooking down lane anymore, so it's easy. Casey. Yeah, we don't need to bowl any more 16-lane centers, to be honest. So, but if we end up going to some kind of limited tour, lots of things are on the table.
So real quick, let's get back on Weber Cup. So
yes.
we're tied at 10 apiece. We went on. We peeled off a 5-bagger. You've peeled off 2 in a row. Interesting fact about the Weber Cup. I do not believe, it's been a long time, but I don't actually believe anybody's ever won the Weber Cup 1 time in a row. Weird.
Really?
Yeah. It's just been one of those things that once a team gets like a run going, it's been like 2s and 3s all the time. So yeah, it's been a
We'll keep this off of that, but it's kind of funny. Trump to Joe Biden with Fox and CNN and Fox on Fox with CNN and Fox commentators.
yeah, that's pretty funny.
That
Yeah. Trump gets 6. They say, no, that was a strike on Fox. Trump strikes. No, there was 5 pins missing. They said,
foul. It was a foul.
yeah. There you go.
Oh man, we can all dream.
Call in 6 sessions, going unbeaten is going to be a bit of a stretch, I think.
Martin, I tell you what, I'll give you 4-1 on that one right now, and you can.
And that could just be the Thomas Larson being unbeaten. I'd almost give you 4-1 on anybody being unbeaten.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost impossible. Yeah. So I can, yeah, look at this. This is really odd. Here we go. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit on that. So it went 3 USA, 3 Europe, 3 USA, 2 Europe, 2 USA. Then it went 5 Europe, and now it's gone 2 USA.
Well, you're in for a couple more.
Maybe.
It's amazing. It's also followed the same path. 3-3-3. I guess it went 2-2.
Yeah, and then it went 5. So we're hoping that we don't get another 5. That would be a little upsetting. But yeah, I mean, history says that there's only like a couple of really close ones, like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, yeah, it's basically been 4 really close ones.
Yeah.
Usually it ends up being like a 6-point victory is usually about right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 6-2. I mean, in recent times, there was a couple of close ones, and then I believe this one right here was when Tommy Jones led the party. I was most disappointed when you guys got to 8 because I was on the team that got 7. I was pissed because I was like, we've got a chance here. The momentum started going, and yeah, Captain Chris wasn't there. And yeah, Captain.
I was watching from afar, and there was not anything that you just couldn't do it. It's a little premature for this. It's not like the NBA. We're not going to decide that Simo and Jesper are going to be the MVPs no matter what happens in the event.
I would say, though, that there's a strong possibility that if Europe win, Jesper will be the MVP.
There's a chance he's in the conversation. There's probably similarly a chance that Simo is in that conversation for us. But yeah.
I do know that they do it on whoever wins the most points. It's not whoever's anchorman in the baker of the winning team who gets the MVP.
Yeah, it's actually not a vote. I mean, even though I think Troop won it a couple of years ago, Simo was the one that had all the tough assignments. And
yeah, I think that Troop ended up playing one more match than Simo, so he ended up winning the state
right?
It was. So
yeah.
I just like giving Kyle a hard time about it because Kyle bowled great that year as well. It was the first time anybody had seen Simonson, and he was shooting. Him and Kyle were just crazy that 2 years ago. Hopefully they've forgotten that because even if English Bill and English EJ turn up, if English Simo and English Troop turn up, it probably won't make any difference. Yeah.
Well, Bill was also on that 17-7 team, I believe. So, you know,
he was.
He wasn't always the fish that he was the last year or two where it went the wrong way for him.
Yeah, I know, but let's not let the truth get in the way of it.
Well, this is my job as captain. Is I have to make sure that he's in a good place.
Of course, he's going to be in a good place. I don't think there are many people who are now more comfortable with themselves than Bill after the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great at the time, and I could still get under his skin. I think it's a little harder now.
Yeah, I think he's a little rooming with Belmo for the last several years probably has toughened him up a bit too.
Yeah. Europeans practice more, so I favor them. Guess he's not talking about you, Chris.
I don't practice as much as I used to. Of
It's
course,
hard.
in that event, you don't get to practice at all. So maybe guys that don't practice as much are more prepared.
Yeah, I mean, all I hear every time Prather speaks is, I'm really bold for a couple of months. Oh, I want another $20,000 check. So I quit listening to the practice thing because, yeah.
Yeah, this is a thing. Spare games on TV right now. I think.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, mine's probably included at this point. So
No, I don't like that. The thing is right, is I think two things. I think a lot of the spares are being missed by guys who aren't throwing plastic balls. And when you're not bowling all the time, I
Yeah.
think it's hard to get back in the rhythm. And when I say bowling all the time, I mean having 20 minutes between each frame. Like when you do a plastic ball, you basically got an arrow to hit it. You're not doing anything with your hand. You're just dumping it straight at the pin. And Chris Prather is a guy who I think is a pretty good spare shooter, and he throws reactive balls all the time. And for the PBA league, he drilled a plastic ball because he said, I'm not as sharp as I was doing that, and it's just easier with the plastic ball. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, there was three single pins missed on the show the other day, and I understand that Duke was one of them, but all three of the guys weren't using the plastic ball.
Interesting.
I just think when you're bowling all the time and you're in the rhythm of it, even just, bowling for months at a time, it's so second nature. You don't have to think about it. But with the plastic ball, you can throw a really average shot and still make it.
Yeah. I think part of it goes into play too. Is most of the bowling that's being done at home is done on softer patterns, and you're just not shooting very many spares.
No,
and they were tricky, and so you not only had to think on your first ball, but in some cases the second one too, tougher spares. And I just think guys are a little out of rhythm, and shows are always shows. And there's more adrenaline, there's more lights. The approaches were not great in this place. And for the playoff shows, the left lane had not been used. And so it was really tacky on the corners. Not so much as fairly slick in the middle like the rest of them were. I assume as more bowling happened on it, it would probably get better. But I don't know if that played a part in it or not. It's not really an excuse because straight swings, if you stick or not, pretty much go the right place. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things that go into it. Heat, how easy you can get out of a thumb hole when it's hot.
I mean, Rick says girls and guys are missing them. The girls haven't bowled at all.
Yeah, and they're just like Liz. She just didn't look that sharp for Liz. I've seen her bowl hot. I would have never guessed. I was done when she left. The 3-6-10 is a possibility, but the 3-6 with her spare game, I thought was a stone cold lock. So,
Mark Elton says, who, in your opinion, are the three most talented players on the PBA Tour at the minute? Your top three, please. If you're just talking about the three best players, I'm going to be mean to Bill, but I think that it's Belmo and then a gap, and then it's Simo and EJ, I think.
Belmo, Simo are the two that come off right off the top as far as just pure talent and being able to do.
I mean, like I say, I don't know whether it's just the way the translation came across.
Yeah,
or whether you just mean two of the best three players.
Well, even talent, I think, means different things to different people. For me, talent is how many different things you can do as well, and so that all plays into it as well. I mean, those two are far and above talent-wise. I think away from everybody else. From a pure who's the best bowlers, EJ is closer than Simo to Belmo, but still not. Nobody's particularly close.
He's talking about pure talent. I mean, if you want to be crazy and you want to talk about people who could just randomly do stuff, then, Oscar can do things that Belmo, Simo, all of them can't do. Like, just God-given feats of strength. And like that one where he just holds the ball on 2 fingers and walks up and then just throws a regular shot is possibly one of the more disgusting things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder with all of those things. I tangibly, I think that the best 3 bowlers on the PBA are Belmo, and then I just think that Simo and EJ are just they're different, but they're like the next 2.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I think that like Bill and Prather are really close behind them. I think that I still think Belmo Street's ahead of everybody else.
It's pretty incredible until his level changes. I'm not sure how many people can catch up to him. Paul, that's cute. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they hope you're right.
So
More
somebody asked how close were you to picking Prather instead of
Yeah, I saw that. Where was it? I think it's right here. It was actually really, really close because I basically just ended up being a stats thing. Points for the year were almost EJ was slightly ahead, and I ended up going back like 3 and 5 years with some of the new stats and different things that are up there, average finishes and those kind of things. And EJ's been better for longer, even over the last 3 years. As amazing as Chris's run is, EJ has been consistently a little bit better, but they were by far, far and away the two top choices for that pick. And Prater's it was the alternate for the event. So yeah, not an easy choice. It's a first world problem for sure. Which one of the top 3 guys, one of the top 5 guys on tour would you like to have? Well,
yeah, it's there's we have a different coin flip than you do.
It's
when it comes to after our first 2 guys, the next 3 guys on our team is put in a hat and pick out 3 names. So
I saw this earlier. I want to get to it. It would be amazing if PBA to pick up the banner on the Weber Cup. It's such a great show. I think they do a great show, and I actually think probably without having watched it, I think Coley has moved to some of the same elements that the Weber Cup's been doing for a long time, and it does make the set look better and more unique.
yeah,
it would be ideal, I guess, actually, if Flo would pick it up, since that's already a large.
I just think
I don't know that you can pay for it and make that work.
I just think that the reason why, just quickly, Mike, Matchroom Sport run the Weber Cup, and Matchroom Sport is a huge entity, and they have their own deals already set up. Mm-hmm. So they have partners already in the media world. So a lot of their boxing, like Anthony Joshua, is actually a Matchroom boxer, and he has a deal with DAZN. So that is why a lot of the Matchroom sports are on DAZN. Like the Moscone Cup is on DAZN. Like they have really big tie-ins with those. So it's not practical for them to. That isn't really the business they're in, to try and go with each sport's own individual broadcaster. That's just not the way it's going to be. So.
Yeah. What else we got?
Lonnie Pemberton says, do you think team chemistry will suffer without Martin Larson? Probably, because Martin's the one person on earth who seems to get on with everybody. So yes. And Thomas is like probably one of the least argumentative people, but you're literally talking about Martin, who's the person who can like literally deal with everybody. So it says individual matchups better or worse with Thomas. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Thomas has a skill set that I don't think anybody else on our team has. He can do a lot of things with the ball. He can go really straight, and he can throw it really slow. And like I say, it's just.
Yeah, it's 2 different things. And Thomas does, I think, offer some versatility for your lineups. You can put him out first if you want. He can actually survive late, probably a little better than Martin. especially now with the company change.
Yeah.
Because he can create so much side roll, and he actually can make it flip down lane pretty good. So I think there's a lot of places he can play. I think there's a lot of people he can bowl with and be and play alongside. So it's similar. If you're both getting him, he can play with whoever. It doesn't have to.
I mean, I could anticipate me and Thomas bowling a doubles match where we start off and I'm hooking it and Thomas is throwing it straight, and by the end of the match, it didn't work and I'm throwing it straight and Thomas is hooking it.
You can both do it because you both do it different ways. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of our tricks we'll try, but hopefully one of them will work. We're both kind of in that group. All right. Well, it's been a pretty good. We managed to strengthen it out for 52 minutes, so we'd sure like talking. I guess we will. We won't have a show on Thursday. Friday will be very dependent upon our internet connection. It won't be early on in the day because, well, I guess it might be actually because, of course, I'm going the opposite direction. It will really depend on the internet connection because on Friday, me and Chris can't actually see each other. With the COVID protocols, we will be
land tested and self-quarantined. Basically, we will be in an actual bubble.
Yeah, but for Friday, we're in our own rooms until our COVID tests come back, and fingers crossed everybody comes back negative. And then we can get going on Saturday. We can roam around the hotel, and should be good. And then Sunday's practice, and Monday, 2 sessions a day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
There you go. And we'll try and do some updates. Maybe it might be straight to YouTube, but we'll try and do some updates as we go and get those up as we can. So,
yeah. All right, guys. Take care.
Support small businesses and bowling. And of course,
here it comes.
What am I doing?
Here comes the train.
Our sponsors. Rotogrip, 900 Global, Storm, Vice, Turbo, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Dexter, Master, Bowlers Mart, and any players to be named later. So, man, be safe out there. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless.